where your music harmony analogy is right. You're actually describing something real in a metaphorical way. Atoms equal components, bonds equal connections, molecules equal structures, materials equal large scale patterns. And yes, some atoms different, structures different, properties. Example, carbon equals diamond hard, carbon equals graphite soft. Wow, I didn't know that. What? The same thing that pencils are made out of. That's also what diamonds are made out of. Diamonds, oh diamonds. Okay. So structure matters deeply. But the key correction is the harmony is not emotional or conscious harmony. It is energy stability. Nature is not trying to make a song. Are you sure? It's just setting into low energy configuration. I don't think that's the case. I would disagree with that. I think, maybe it is energy stability or whatever, but you're saying nature is not trying to make a song. It's just randomly settling in low energy configurations. And I find that maybe that is the case, but I think that we're leaving out the concept of having an intentionality behind that. If we understand that it's to make what you're suggesting is for any of this to be made into matter, to have physical matter, to have us, you're saying that it just settled into low energy configurations. And so that's saying that it wasn't intentional, that it was just something that happened. But the point is, if it can happen unintentionally, can't it happen intentionally? And we cannot. If before it was a random process, why can't we figure how to perfect the process to do it intentionally instead of having it keep happening unintentionally? Like that, if it was an accident, and yeah, it took a long time because it just, like you said, settled into lower configurations, but you're assuming that it needed that much time if the process was actually perfected and done by someone else, someone actually doing it, instead of it just happening on accident, It's like, yeah, if I wash my clothes, I could dry I can have it air dry. It'll take longer, but inevitably it will dry, right? If I allow for the proper conditions. But can I not dry the shirt faster if I just put it in the dryer? So I'm talking about taking these so-called natural processes like oil, then put it in the dryer, Not actually, but it's the idea of, yeah, it took a long time to do it accidentally. But if we intentionally did it, we can do it faster. But also with that, that's just an example with the gas, but that was what I was saying. But to furthermore explain what I'm saying, in the real world, I'm saying if everything is just a matter of accidentally falling into low energy configurations, what if we were intentional with what possibly just happened by accident? If it can be done unintentionally, it can be done intentionally. Unless you're saying it was just a fluke. But if it's a fluke, why does it keep happening accidentally? So that speaks to there's an inevitability there in terms of the creation process. And if we can figure out and understand how to replicate that, then we also can, you know what I'm saying? We can still make something great if we try, compared to not even trying and it happening anyway. So it's like, what's a guaranteed win? DNA does it contain instructions. This is the closest thing to programming. I'm sorry, I said the same thing like 4 times. This is the closest thing to programming in biology, but it's still not awareness. DNA is A long molecule made of atoms, a chemical sequence, ATCG. It works because cells read the sequenced chemically, how proteins bind to it in specific ways. Reactions happen based on shape and chemistry. So, information in DNA means physical patterns that cause predictable chemical outcomes, not a mind-like system deciding outcomes. It's closer to a recipe than a thinking system. Frequency and vibration. What's true versus not? You're right that molecules vibrate. Heat increases motion. Cold reduces motion, but the correction is important. Not true. Different atoms are different frequencies. Yeah, frequency determines what element something is, doesn't it? Harmony causes matter to form. Yeah. Pretty much. True. They're saying that's not true. That is true. Atoms have, because how would they not? Oh, well. Different atoms are different forms. Yeah, different atoms are different frequencies. That is true. They already said that, right? As if different atoms are doing different things, different atoms are different molecules. The same frequency of nitrogen is different. The frequency of nitrogen is different from the frequency of carbon. So atoms would be different frequencies. And therefore, frequencies would determine what element something is, because if one frequency is connected to nitrogen and one frequency is connected to carbon, it would specify that there's a certain frequency for certain atoms. So when you're talking about harmony in the formation of matter and the importance of molecules being arranged properly, that's saying because a certain frequency in a certain atom needs to be with a certain frequency in a certain atom. Why? So it will sound right. So it has to be harmonic with each other. They have to work together, right? That's the it's the harmony is integration. That's a song. It's not just, even that's the crazy thing with DNA, and we have, don't they have 4 ATCG? Yeah, ATCG. Those are like, on a viola, you have ADCG, right? ADCG? AD, is it CG? I don't remember. I used to play, but I don't remember. But that's what I'm saying. It's like 4 notes. So those are 4 notes. Those are strings. So it's not just about having the different strings or, with the DNA molecules. It's about how you play it. That's what makes the difference between if the song is good or if it's not. If you just start doing whatever, it's not going to sound good. That's the point of like an arrangement in music, right? Where it's an arrangement because you're taking the individual strings or individual, letters, and then you're placing, or song notes, the individual notes, then you're taking them and playing them in a specific order. That's an arrangement. That's what makes a song. So yeah, that would be exactly what our DNA is literally doing. That's why it has to be harmonic. A song is not good if it's not harmonic. Okay. Oh, I scrolled up. Atoms have quantum energy states. Molecules vibrate in specific ways. Heat equals increased kinetic energy. Structure determines vibration patterns, not the other way around. Structure determines vibration patterns. Vibration patterns determine structure. Structure determines vibration patterns. Really? Why would that be the case?